There is this movie called Escape Room. I'm not going to give any spoilers here, absolutely not. The movie is about the following. There is this birthday party, and I believe it's the wife or girlfriend, anyway, the female partner of the guy who has his birthday, comes up with this plan to go to some attraction. And that attraction is a game called the Escape Room. It goes like this. You and some friends are blindfolded, then located into a room, and you need to find a way to get out of the room. And the way you do it is by solving riddles. And there are clues in the room that suggest unto you how to get out. Sounds fun, right? Well, watch the movie for yourself, because they figure out soon that it's not a game and their lives are at stake. Now, there are real attractions out there called escape rooms. There's even a version for children, I found out. You can just go near an escape room attraction nearby, pay some money, you and your friends, and you're locked up in a room and you need to figure a way to get out. Now, of course, after a certain amount of hours, they'll come to remove you, because it's not like in the movie that it ends up being a real thing and you die if you don't get out. So, escape rooms became something all over the world, maybe not that mainstream, but it's a known attraction. But some years ago, I believe it was 2017, in Poland, there was an accident in which 5 teenagers died trying to get out of an escape room. Since that incident, everywhere, in other escape rooms worldwide, they took extra security measures to secure the safety of the people involved. Now, whether you should or shouldn't go with your friends to the escape room, I'm talking about those attractions, that's up to you. Some people say, well, it's an alternative than going to a nightclub, it's an alternative than going to watch a movie at the cinema. It's meant for fun, just for leisure. But I want to point out the following to you. That concept, an escape room, a room you need to escape from, but you can't just escape it, you need to solve riddles to get out of it. So actually, I'm not talking about the attraction nor the movie now. I'm talking about the concept in general. So it comes down to the following. Someone locks you up. They don't want you to leave, but they gave you clues on how to leave. This sounds a bit weird, right? Who would think something like this? Now, where does this concept come from? What does it symbolize? The escape room symbolizes society in itself. In the movie The Escape Room, they thought it was just a game, so they got along with it to find out it's real and their lives were in danger. In society, it's the other way around. You are told it's true because you're just a small child, or best yet a baby, when the socialization process begins. And because it's all you know, you have no other option. So for you, it's real. And because there are real life consequences happening to people that don't comply nor conform to society, whether they are killed or whether the violence haunts them while they're still alive, because they're excluded, or they can't find a job, or they can't find a mate, or whatever, because it's real life damage happening to those who don't conform, and because you were exposed to some of those incidents, you were conditioned through trauma to align yourself with society. You've been conditioned to look for society's approval. So society became your God. Your parents, your teachers became a reflection of what society wants. But later, when you're going through tribulation and you expect society to come and help you out, that same society you've been conditioned into thinking is real, that same society that you invested all your life source into to be accepted, when it's time for society to acknowledge your value and your investment, now I realize that society is not real. Because everyone will blame the situation on society. When I realize, well, hold on a minute, aren't we the people enacting society? So why is everyone now blaming society instead of acknowledging that we together are dysfunctional? Then you begin to realize that society is nothing but a game. But it's a game you were never told was a game. You were never told that society was a game, because if you knew from the start it was a game, you would have said, okay, then I don't want to play the game. Okay? But if you said you don't want to play the game, that means they had to offer you an alternative. And the power of society lies in the fact that they conceal the truth from you. Society can only function if people are tricked into believing it's real. Society can only function if people are tricked into believing it's the only option. Society must become synonymous to reality for the common people for it to work. The moment anyone in any society realizes that there are more options, the moment realizes that some of the options will be more beneficial, the moment that happens, that individual will not be blinded by the spell of society anymore. The fact that someone thinks outside of the box that has been presented onto them is already a threat to society. So society is a fear construct in which you're conditioned through fear, because it's through punishment and rewards. Rewards are to distract you by triggering your focus onto one outcome or one object. And punishment is the dread of violence in case you don't go after the reward. Some people receive more punishment, which is narcissistic lashing out against a defenseless victim. So some receive more victimization than others, but in general, that's how it works. Victimization, and to escape victimization, you comply to get the reward, and the reward is acceptance. That's how society works. It's a fear construct. And remember, God had not given us a spirit of fear, but a love, of power, and of a sound mind. So there is no sound mind available in society because it's a fear construct. Let it get through to you. So everyone wants to be normal. They want to be accepted, want to reflect the norm. And as compensation, they now can victimize others of a lower rank to be relieved. That's the actual reward society offers you. Now, the moment you realize that it's just one big scam, that you've been conned all the way from birth, the moment you realize that, you'll begin to see things completely different. You'll then see that your great-grandparents were lied to. They were scammed. But they transferred the scam onto you, not knowing that they were scammed. Your grandparents were scammed by your great-grandparents. And now your grandparents, in turn, scammed your parents. And your parents, because they never saw through the hooks, or because they never bothered to look at the bigger picture, The only thing they had to offer you was a scam. So you've been scammed. So it's a generational scam. And then you see that throughout history, there is a tiny minority of people that see through the BS. And they decide to look for ways out. And then you realize, well, hold on a minute. Why isn't the school system talking about those other people? Then you begin to realize, hold on a minute. Why aren't those people rewarded? It's then that you begin to see that only people that get along with the scam at their own expense are the ones promoted. So then you see that you have been trapped by people that want to avoid life. You've been trapped by people who don't want solutions. And then you realize that the moment you decide that you want solutions, you want a way out, and you're going to make efforts, it's then that you realize that the commoners around you won't allow you to leave. The only way out is death. Because the commoners around you will not tolerate you being free while they are clinging onto the system. It's like a cult. It's like a suicide cult. The only way out is death. Haven't you noticed that people, in general, spend more time honoring the dead than the living? You can have a guy, strong and healthy. Nobody bothers with him. Then he suddenly dies, either due to an accident or to sickness. He suddenly dies before his time. At the funeral, you have relatives, you have friends of friends. So many people come to pay their last respects. They lay flowers on the casket, and the casket is buried with the corpse in it, or they cremate the body. Suddenly, everyone has a good word to say. Well, not absolutely everyone, because people that are really people are still bitter against the deceased or likely still away. But suddenly, in that situation, everyone has something good to say about the individual. Suddenly, the individual receives the gifts. There's one big problem. The individual is gone. You only have a corpse there, but the spirit, who's the individual himself, or if it's a woman herself, is now in Sheol, awaiting the resurrection when Christ returns. Why is it that the individual had to die before you paid attention to them? I'm telling you why that is. Commoners do not want to be free. They are in an escape room that they don't want to escape from. And the reason why those that want to escape, that want to truly live, are persecuted is because the escape room called society traps you with riddles. Okay? With its rewards, it scams you into thinking that compliance with it will bring real freedom and peace. It never will. But the riddles, the complex structures of society are meant to keep you trapped. You want to get out? You'll have to face some danger. And when you're out, you'll realize that most prefer to stay in. So, understand that when those pagans make those movies, and those movies are used as carnival attractions, they put the truth in a parable. The concept itself is a parable. They're copying Christ. Christ spoke in parables, so they are using parables also. And in those parables, they have to reveal the truth to you one way or the other, or else the black magic wouldn't work. So, in this movie called The Escape Room, or no, it's not it's just Escape Room. In this movie, you hear in the beginning that there is this stalker that locked someone up, and that someone is about to lose his life, and the stalker, you don't see anyone, you just hear the voices. The stalker asks the individual all kinds of weird questions that he needs to answer. Those are riddles. And then there's one sentence that the stalker said. The more you gather, the more you leave behind. Now, why do they do that in the movies? That's when they reveal truth onto you. When you have those loose statements that don't fit in the scene. The more you gather, the more you leave behind. Now, why did they put that in a movie? It's because it refers to this scam of getting rich, this scam of being accepted. You can gather titles, honors, awards, a career, riches, on society's terms, of course, because if you don't do it on society's terms, you're considered a criminal or an outsider you won't be acknowledged. The more you gather on society's terms, the more you will leave behind. Because a career will not last for life. Those honors will be forgotten by the next generation unless it's forced down their throat. And eventually, your physical body will expire. And once your physical body expires, there's no use to keep you in remembrance anymore. Historical figures are kept in remembrance because their legacy is often fabricated and is used for political purposes. But you will be gone out of the body once it expires, and all that you've gathered in society will be left behind, and others will forget you even existed. And then the cycle starts all over again. The young people that are born think that society is real, so they invest in it, and the same happens to them. That's how it goes from generation to generation. So this movie, Escape Room, there's no "the" in it, okay? I forgot about it. There's no "the" in it, it's just Escape Room. This movie shows you how commoners are caught into their own imprisonment. But it also reveals that a lot of people prefer the con instead of actually having freedom. In the movie itself, in the beginning, is this blonde lady that tricks them into this attraction. And the lady in red, who was played by an Asian actress, decided to go home. She left the scene. So think about this. The seductive lady in red leaves the scene. And the blonde one, who enables the one in red, brought them to the dangerous place. Now, what's the symbology of that? The lady in red, because red is a color of attraction when you want something from someone, mostly related to sexuality. The lady in red symbolizes the reward, which is acceptance. Because human beings crave acceptance. Okay? So, then you have the blonde lady, which represents the norm. Okay? Because white supremacy made whiteness the norm. So, you have the reward, what people crave naturally, and then you have the norm that promises the reward. So if you chase the norm to align with the norm, you'll get the reward. But in the movie, the reward leaves the scene and only the norm is left, and people get along with the norm. Some protested, but they got along anyway, and they were endangered. So that shows you that society works through deception. There is a reward put in front of you, or is promoted. And then you're told, if you do this and that, so if you agree with the norm, you'll get the reward. And at the same time, there's punishment coming from behind, so violence is inflicted on you if you don't agree with the norm. So after a while, the reward is out of sight because you're working so hard to align yourself with the norm. And it's late that you'll see that, hold on a minute, where's the reward? Where's the end of this? And then you see there's no end to it. It's just a spinning wheel onto debt at your expense. So stop agreeing with the fake promises of the world. Agree with Christ.